Heard myself cheat. The 3:19 a.m. voice memo that wasn't mine. At 3:19 a.m., my voice told my girlfriend I was cheating on her. It arrived as a voice memo in our building's residence thread, the one with recipes, lost keys, and 200 opinions about recycling, posted from my account as if I'd had the courtesy to incriminate myself in a community setting. A hiss of air, my laugh, I hate that I recognized it, then a whisper I could have sworn belonged to me. Room 604, leave your heels on. I'll meet you at the elevator. I sat up so fast the room stuttered. Rena did too, hair a storm, eyes already deciding whether she was going to comfort me or serve me papers. You want the password, she said, voice steady. Honeysuckle, I said, and the stupid word did what it always does. It put a hand between us and the cliff. The room returned to ours. The memo played again, softer at 3:22 after someone forwarded it with OMG. And a caterer offered the number of a marriage counselor at 3:23, which told me more about our building than I needed on a weeknight. I was here, I said. It sounded defensive coming out of my mouth. You snored on my shoulder at 1:41, Rena said. You said the zoning board is going to break your heart before sleep broke your grammar. We're not fighting with a file. She runs a tenants' rights clinic that makes municipal code sweat. I fix other people's fires for a living. Between us, there's not much that surprises us except the audacity of new tools. I replayed the memo and forced myself to listen like an engineer and not a man whose own voice had crawled into his house with bad intentions. The room tone was wrong. Hotel HVAC pretending to be silence, not our radiators bored breathing. The sibilants were too clean, like a toothbrush ad. The breath before my name wasn't mine. I don't inhale like I expect applause. Rena's thumbs were already moving. Apologize to no one, she said, messaging our thread. Doors open for coffee at 8 a.m. if anyone wants to hear the truth from a mouth attached to a human. Then to me, softer, we're going to need proof before breakfast. What's the game? I asked. Tonight at 7 your friend Chair Shaw opens the hearing on Echelon Wharf, she said. A boutique condo wrapped around a hotel masquerading as micro-housing. Verdant's not on this one. Echelon hired Murmur Labs. You said they specialize in sentiment ops. They specialize in saying culture while selling knives, I said. Her phone pinged. Unknown number. Bad night, the text read. If you want the clip down, bring a statement opposing hotel caps. I'll make it worth your while. Sable at Murmur. Rena showed me the screen like a scalpel. I hate her name, she said, and I kissed her mouth once like a signature. We didn't have a home studio, but we had Jono, who mixes sound for documentaries and keeps a thermos of coffee in his van like an altar. At 4:08, he let us in wearing a hoodie that said, I'm not mad, I'm mastering. He loaded the memo into software and gave us a spectrogram. Blues and greens at the bottom, angry citrus flecks at the top. Clone, he said after 30 seconds. The vowels are wearing a suit that doesn't fit. Hear that halo at 13 kilohertz. That's a watermark. Lyra 2 or Chimera. They all leave fingerprints now in case auditors show up with grant money. Can you tell where they trained it? I asked. On you, he said, poking a band of frequencies that looked like a fog bank. Podcast interviews, panel clips, a city PSA where you said the words floodplain mitigation like a bedtime story for engineers. They layered in breath, slid in hotel air. The little laugh is real, they lifted it. The whisper is not. They used your consonants like Lego. Can you break it in public? Rena said. Jono smiled the way pyromaniacs pretend they're cold. Give me an hour, he said. We could prove the memo was fake. We still needed to prove the account that posted it wasn't mine. I hadn't sent a thing. At dinner, I scanned a QR code at a new restaurant because our city prefers menus to be data harvesters now. I'd let the browser keep me logged into our resident app so I could report a trash pickup the next morning. If I swipe your resin coasters, I can pry your floorboards, Rena said. They QR'd your session cookie. The thing we say when we need our bedrooms to survive a city budget, I said. Sable, not trying to ruin us. She's trying to stall a vote. Rena called the chair's aide. He picked up on the second ring, sounding like a man who had already put out 2 fires and was looking for a third. Bring receipts by noon, he said, and bring sympathy. The chair's going to be asked to postpone so you can clear your name. At 7:58, we made coffee like it was a spell against gossip and propped our door open. Half the floor showed up. The auntie who fights for quiet hours, a nurse coming off nights, a personal trainer who pretends he doesn't eat Doritos at 2 a.m., and the couple who clearly woke because they live for drama. We played Jono's analysis. We showed the log from the resident app that had my device ID last active at 10:41 the night before, and a new web session from an IP that belonged to a menu service out of state. We showed the provider's apology, already email engineered by my rage with the subject, "We take your privacy seriously." The auntie hugged me so hard my ribs signed an NDA. Drama couple left disappointed and a little in love with Rena for how deftly she had made their day boring. At 11, we met the chair. She has the laugh of a person who refuses to let law be ugly without having to work for it. I handed her Jono's report. Rena handed her the QR logs and Sable's text. The chair's mouth did the thing it does when she finds the hinge in a sentence. "Bring that to the mic at 6, she said. "We won't postpone for slander." We had 5 hours to spend our anger wisely. Sable liked a certain cafe where the Wi-Fi has a faux naif name, and the back table is an altar to plausible deniability. She was there, of course, long legs tucked under her, laptop open on a page that could have been a spreadsheet or a sermon. She looked up when we arrived, took us in like a client intake. "You could have just asked for a meeting," I said. "You don't take my meetings," she said, so I used my outdoor voice. "Your voice was mine," I said. She shrugged. "Everybody is training data now." "You went after me to move a calendar," Rena said. "It won't work. It will work on someone else in a less stubborn building." "Then I'll invoice them," Sable said, sipping something green. "What do you want besides an apology you can't cash?" "Escrow before permits," Rena said. "No hotel unless the clinic on Dock Street opens first. Camera bans near the entrance. Loading dock hours that don't call my neighbor's asthma a lifestyle choice." Sable smiled at me like I'd taught her how to conjugate win. "She's the one you marry," she said. "I hate that for my side of the story." "We're not for sale," I said. "We are for terms." Sable nodded. "Tonight," she said, "Shaw will ask for them. Echelon will pretend it was their idea." She leaned in. "And one more thing, your friend Councilman Lynn is about to get his own memo. You might want to walk him through how not to implode." We found Lynn in the atrium pretending to read a budget on his phone and actually watching a toddler try to share a blueberry with a pigeon. We told him about watermarks and menu QR codes and how you could deepfake a man's virtue if you wanted a variance enough. "I knew the tools would arrive," he said. "I hoped they'd be used responsibly." "You also hoped the river would respect projections," Rena said. "Fair," he said. "Help me not be an idiot at the mic." We drafted his sentence. "I've been offered a delay packaged as dignity. I decline both. We vote. We went home for 40 minutes because bodies carry anger in ways courts can't measure. Rena pressed me against the hallway and kissed me like a cure she didn't trust yet. It wasn't obscene. It was precise. She climbed onto me and found the hinge under my collarbone with her thumb. The city tried to press its face against the glass. We ignored it. When she said say it, I did, and the word felt less like shame and more like a key we choose daily. Honeysuckle. At 6, the hearing room looked like an apology that had found a microphone. Echelon's counsel said partnership, in a tone designed to land a check. The PR slides glowed with families who looked like they could pay for brunch. The chair banged the gavel once, and the room remembered it wasn't Instagram. Sable watched from the back, bored, amused, efficient. She caught my eye and tilted her head. Your move. Rena went first. She held up the memo on her phone and Jono's spectrogram like a two-act play. This file is a forgery, she said, voice clean as a blade. This QR code turned a menu into blackmail. If a lobbyist asks you to postpone for the sake of dignity, they're lying. We still want a clinic. We still don't want a hotel that pretends to be an apartment. Jono spoke about watermarks in breath. Not one person left. That's a miracle for a room with fluorescent lights. Lynn said the sentence we'd written and made it sound like he'd found it at the bottom of a good book. I've been offered a delay packaged as dignity. I decline both. We vote. Echelon's counsel tried to look chastened without having to bleed. Sable remained a study in restraint, a pro who knows when the tide isn't hers. The chair called the vote. Yes, 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 yes. The clause we'd written in the hallways of 3 buildings went into law. Escrow lands first, clinic doors open before a key spins in a hotel lock, camera bans near entrances to care, QR tracking outlawed in any app attached to public process. One abstention from a man who has never learned to say he's afraid. Afterward, Sable sidled up, gave a shrug I almost respected. I'll pivot, she said. Nice work. Stop trying to ruin people to make your decks more interesting, Rena said. Sable smirked. I'll try, she said, which for her is a vow. We walked home through air that had decided to cooperate. The residents' thread had returned to lost packages and the great compost debate. Someone posted a photo of the toddler and the pigeon. Caption: Détente. At midnight, we lay on the rug under the fan and watched it pretend to be weather. I spun my phone. It spun back to face me like a dog that forgives too quickly. You trust her? Rena asked. I trust that Sable likes winning more than she likes burning, I said. Today winning required us not to be stupid. You were almost stupid, she said, teasing and true. I was scared, I said. Scared is where stupid gets its tiny victories. She stretched, long and decisive, then rolled onto me and put her mouth where my jaw forgives me. You're allowed to be scared, she said. You're just not allowed to be elsewhere. We slept like the good version of a movie. In the morning, the chair posted a short video, no filters, no mic tricks, saying, technology is not an excuse to be unkind. Jono uploaded a tutorial on how to spot a watermark without an engineering degree. The restaurant with the QR menu sent a $100 gift card and a promise to use laminated paper like God intended. I ate pancakes in a shirt Rena had stolen and my phone behaved itself. I kept the memo, not because I like hatting myself, but because memory makes policy stick. I put it in a folder called LESSONS, next to the old photo that wasn't mine and the receipt someone signed with my hand. We taped the menu QR on the inside of our cabinet with the spare keys and the ugly truths, not trophies, receipts. There will be more memos, more ways to hear ourselves do things we didn't do. There will be lobbyists who prefer spectacle to escrow, who will try to postpone the boring necessary until after ribbon. There will be mornings when neighbors believe strangers faster than they believe the woman sleeping beside me. But there will also be Rena's thumb on my hinge, our idiot password, and the choice, again and again, to speak first so the room doesn't have to guess. I will keep refusing to postpone dignity. We will keep opening our door for coffee at 8. If you ever hear my voice telling you to meet me at the elevator, check the watermark. If you hear it tell you we already lost, check the vote. And if I whisper anything important into a phone at 3:19 a.m., it will be this: we chose each other. The rest is just calibration.